taken him from South Central LA to the halls of justice. In his courtroom, everyone has the right to a fair trial. But if they're proven wrong, he has the right to make them pay. Judge Joe Brown.
Yeah, what you drinking on over there?
Double Bombay Sapphire.
Judge Joe Brown, you see him all the time. Man, he from HARLEM, CRIP, man.
Fuck that shit. I don't do that bullshit anymore.
You don't?
No. I'm about making a lot of money behind entertainment.
Brother HARLEM, CRIP, man. He'll tell you.
No, I wasn't born in L.A. I was born in Washington, D.C. But kindergarten through law school, I was in Los Angeles, and it wasn't East L.A. That was Hispanic. It was in what we once started calling South Central L.A. Where I grew up, you didn't just walk around the corner. You looked around the corner carefully to see if the wrong people were on the street. Then you went down that way. When you went home from school, you got with your homeboys, and we're going out the Southeast Gate. Everybody meet up over there, so you wouldn't go out the wrong gate. Because when I was in junior high / middle school, we didn't call it middle school then. It was, they had a lot of street gang activity. Got to Dorsey High, it wasn't as bad. Though if you saw this movie, Boys in the Hood, that was 25, almost 30 years after the fact, but that was kind of the reality. You just did not la-di-da walk out. You tried to keep a situational awareness because it wasn't safe not to. I was supposed to go to manual arts, and then parents got tired of getting broken in. They were trying to do right, so wound up going over toward the Crenshaw area, and I went to Dorsey High.
I remember.
Went to John Muir Junior High, and then before that, Budlong Avenue Elementary School. So if you know LA, you know where they are. So, well, I can remember one time I came to school. I was in the 8th grade, and somebody that had just graduated from the 9th grade, he was going to Mantle. He came there, and he was hung by his neck from the flagpole, and his belly had been cut open, and the 10 feet between where his body was and the ground, his guts were drooping down, and we had a lot of violence and stuff going on. We used to have killings all the time. I think by the time I got 15 or so, I'd seen 13 or 14 people killed within 15, 25 yards of where I was standing. It was no big deal. People died all the time. See, I saw somebody got his gut slashed out with a linoleum knife. I saw 5 people die by fire when somebody torched a nightclub across the street from where I used to live on Normandy. Oh, I've seen people stabbed. I've seen people shot. Baseball bat. I saw somebody done in with a baseball bat. All kinds of things. Yeah. It got exciting. It was like being in a war zone. But my old man had been in the war, so he got decorated. He came back. He'd tell us stories about it, but not all the stories. I didn't find out some things till later, but it was like, be brave. Make sure you went out for the right purposes, so be brave and courageous. Never back down from a fight. If you had to make a strategic retreat, then you did that, but come back later and do payback. So that's how I got raised. So it's kind of been the life mission. They had gangs then, Slausons, Vigdale Vikings, businessmen, Bobtown, De La Soul, and such like. But that disappeared in 1965 when they had the uprising in August. All of the frustration, aggression, and tension and stress seemed to evaporate, and people started becoming more congenial toward each other and interested in a bigger picture than had been the case. 1965, it dropped way down. For an 18-month period between August 1965 and the end of that time period, there were only 2 black-on-black homicides in L.A. And if I recall correctly, that was 2 ladies shot the men in their lives because they thought they were running around on them. The burglaries dropped to 0. The robberies dropped to 0. The rapes dropped to 0. The assaults dropped down to practically nothing because nobody was mad. But 1968, 69, it started going back up because the FBI, LAPD's SIS unit, and other of these alphabet entities were infiltrating the black movement, the Hispanic or brown beret movement, Native American movement, and there was a lot of treacherous internal stuff going on, and people started turning against each other, and Johnson didn't run, and a lot of minorities felt there was no longer any hope, and Tricky Dick got in, and things started building back up again. Stressed out, Hollywood was going broke, and they got a new crowd in there that was into this thing about we have to deliver a product to an unrepresented audience that will eat it up. Let's go to the lowest common denominator, and instead of dealing with uplifting stuff, they started the black exploitation thing, Black Caesar, Superfly, Foxy Brown, and that kind of stuff. You see, they've become so inured to it over the last half century that they have become perfect victims of the propaganda, and they believe it. So when I studied propaganda at UCLA, amongst other things, one of the signs that you have been successful is when your target starts thinking and talking and speaking and ideating in terms of the propaganda you've been feeding them.
Judge Joe Brown will no longer be on YouTube because he's going to be on a website, therealdananetwork.com. He's going to be live on the website, therealdananetwork.com. And the reason why he is not going to be live on YouTube, because first of all, YouTube, they don't like him personally talking about certain things.
The streets couldn't wait.
Couldn't wait, man. You know how it is. And I mean, I ain't even mad at the bootlegging situation. That's the same thing that created me. You know what I mean?
That's what's up.